greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you.
Hello boys and girls, it's good to be with you. Well, it's lockdown number 3. I hope you're well and we hope that you're all getting on okay with your school work. So it's hello from me and hello from the other Open the Book team members.
Hello. Hello everybody.
Hello.
Well, our story today is called Me First, and it's about Jesus and his friends, his disciples. But we're going to take you inside St Mary's Church too to have a look at the stained glass windows there. So there's some lovely pictures of Jesus' friends and his disciples. But I tell you what, it's a bit chilly out here, so I think you better come indoors. Come on, come with me. Oh, that's better. Right, so we're going to open the book with all our friends. Do you find that when you're queuing for something, maybe school dinners, maybe to get on the bus, there's always someone who wants to push to the front of the queue, wants to get in first? Me first and all that. Perhaps, even on the very odd occasion, it's you. Of course, there are good reasons on some occasions. Well, in today's story, we see some people who should have done better when it came to sharing and letting others go first. It's all about showing humility, about sharing and caring and not being selfish. So, let's hear our story for today then, and see what the Bible says about humility, and we'll open the book to the story Me First. James and John were brothers. They did everything together, and they were partners too, in a fishing business with their father Zebedee. But then they met Jesus and he asked them to be his disciples. So the two of them, James and the John, they went and they followed him, as did the other 10 disciples. And they travelled with him all around the country. They marvelled at Jesus' wisdom and they learned from him and they tried to live like he did. One day, the two brothers, James and John, they came to Jesus with a request.
Jesus, when your ways become a reality in God's kingdom in this world, let us be in charge with you,
They said.
One of us on your right-hand side,
Said James.
And one of us on your left.
Said John. Jesus smiled sadly. They'd got the wrong idea of what God's kingdom and his vision for the world would be like. He wasn't planning a kingdom like the earthly kingdom ways that they knew. God's vision was for a world with very different values. And Jesus tried to explain this to all his disciples. That eventually he would have to return to God in heaven in order that God's kingdom could be built on earth. So he said to James and John,
Can you deal with the difficulties that all that entails? Can you do all that I have taught you? Can you hold to your faith in God and in me and be filled with God's presence?
and James and John nodded and said, We can.
we can.
And you will.
Jesus sighed, knowing that life in the future was not going to be easy for his disciples.
It is not important for us to decide who sits on my right or on my left, or who is in charge. And who serves who?
When the other 10 disciples heard James and John trying to get favours from Jesus, they were really angry, seeing it's some sort of favouritism to the Zebedee family. One shouted,
"Who do you think you are?"
Another said,
I'm just as good as you.
and yet another,
So you two think you're a couple of big shots, hey?
and then they turned to Jesus.
"Me, Jesus, me. I want to be the next to you in heaven."
Make sure I get a good place, Jesus.
I'm the most important one here.
"We deserve more than anyone else."
I'm the most holy. I pray more than the rest of you.
And so it went on until all the disciples, those who were the closest friends of Jesus, who had spent the most time with him, were all shouting and yelling about what they deserved.
Listen,
Jesus said to them,
in the nations of this world on earth today, everything is about power and position. People in charge show how important they are by pushing everyone else around and making them do what they say. But that's not how God wants you to treat each other. In God's kingdom, the greatest person is the one who puts the needs of the rest before their own. Let me put it this way. For I did not come into this world to be served, but to serve, to bring about a better world where everyone works to bring kindness and concern to everyone else, particularly where others are experiencing hard times and being treated badly.
and that is how we are all called to live. Jesus always challenges us to really think about things, and the disciples felt ashamed at how they bickered over who should be first. Christians believe that Jesus Christ calls us to a genuine humility of sharing and not being selfish, being willing to serve others and put others first. Each of us is special, but that doesn't mean anyone else should take advantage of others, and they certainly shouldn't bully people about. Think about the times when you've been full of yourself. How did you behave? And now think about how you could show a genuine humility instead. And now Brian is going to sing us a song about knowing Jesus and knowing how to serve the world better.
Hello children. The story today was about James and John. They thought that following Jesus meant that they would be powerful and famous. Of course that's not right. Now this song says, the greatest thing in all my life is knowing you and loving you and serving you. That's what's important in our lives, not being famous or rich or powerful. So it'd be lovely if you could just hum along or sway along or maybe clap. It goes like this. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. I want to love you, Lord. I want to love you, Lord. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. I want to serve you, Lord. I want to serve you, Lord. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. Well, my children, bye.
Thank you, Brian. Now, I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end. Dear God, Jesus showed us how to behave as a humble servant to others. Forgive us when we get caught up in our own importance. Amen. So, it's time for us to say goodbye until we see you next time. So it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from everyone else.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you again soon.
Take care and stay safe. Bye.
The greatest thing in all my life